for that, Raymondo, because if it was any less than that for the Philadelphia Eagles, I think we'd all be going bat bleep crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's when you're talking about a guy like I don't know the difference between Garrett Gilbert and Gilbert Gottfried, for goodness sakes. And this guy's got a bet. Wait, does he? Hang on. He has a better passer rating than Jalen Hurts. 9 of 13, 105 yards, and a 93.4 rating. Hurts, 11 of 14, 169, and a pick. 87.2 rating, and the pick wasn't his fault, but the fumble was, both leading to scores in the first quarter.
Yeah, that's, when you're playing a team that's as depleted as Washington, the one thing you can't afford to do is give them opportunities. You have to make them earn it. And the Eagles turned it over in their first two possessions, basically handed Washington a 10-0 lead. Dug themselves out of that hole, sort of, to get even here at halftime. But the story of the first half really is just the mistakes by the Eagles. The interception, which is kind of a fluky play, but it's caused by a drop by Goddard. I mean, he should have caught the ball in the first place. And then Jalen Hurts holding the ball too long, getting sacked, fumbles. They turned that into a field goal. And then you had a couple of decent offensive plays. Screen pass to Goddard, picked up good yardage, but it gets wiped out by a penalty. Mm-hmm. And then a fourth down decision that Nick Sirianni makes, I'm going to go for it on fourth down. They pick it up with Jordan Howard. That gets wiped out by a penalty. So the Eagles find themselves tied in this game, and it's really their own doing. I mean, they've put themselves in this spot. Last drive they had was the first drive that they put together where it had any kind of really sort of continuity to it, and they go down and they score to tie the game. And it would seem as if now they've kind of gotten back on an even footing, but it shouldn't really even be this close, but it's because they've played such sloppy football to this point.
Is it fair at all to suggest, might be true, but is it fair to suggest that they haven't played in 16 days? And you can call them NFL players, whatever you want to call them, but they haven't been together as a football team on a field of play in 16 days. And maybe they're just getting the rough spots smoothed out.
Yeah, I mean, you could make that excuse. If I'm Nick Sirianni, I'm not letting it stand. I mean, you can't have that happen, Mike. I mean, you got an opportunity here with 4 games left in the season. The playoffs are staring you right in the face. It's there to be had. You're playing against a team that's playing with a quarterback that's been with them for 48 hours. You can't afford to make the mistakes that they're making now. Does the layoff hurt a little bit? Yeah, maybe. Is there some rust? Maybe. Is the weather probably a factor? Maybe a little bit, but you just got to play through that. And, the one thing about Washington is they do have the most of their defensive line intact. And their defensive line is the best part of their defense. Their secondary, as you can see, is not very good. The Eagles have receivers open all over the field. And I think that's contributing to a little bit of a problem here. To me, I think that they're asking Hurts to throw the ball too much. And I know what the coaches are thinking. They understand the Washington secondary is porous. And it is. I mean, you see how open a lot of the Eagles receivers are. So they're forcing the ball, they're throwing the ball down the field, when to me it seems that the strength of this Eagles team right now, and we've said it for weeks now, is their ability to run the football. And if they were able to run the football, even though Washington's strong on the defensive line, they could control this game better than what they're doing when they take chances. Look, the two turnovers that really hurt them were both on pass plays. The one, the ball off Goddard's hands, and then the one where Hurts gets sacked and fumbled. I think the safer way to go here is just, you're better at the line of scrimmage, you're better in the trenches, just lean on that. I think they've thrown the ball, in my view. I know Seth said he likes that Sirianni thinks he's called a pretty good game to this point.
Because it's balanced, maybe.
I think
he's got 16 called passes, and you take out Hurts's runs, that's 15 runs by the backs.
Yeah. To me, I still think you could run the ball more. I still think this team functions better when they're doing that. And the one thing that they had to do coming into this game, and they haven't done, is protect the ball. They're -2 giveaway takeaway now. When you're -2 at halftime and you're tied, you're actually, that's better than you deserve.
You're lucky. You're right. And they're running the ball 5.4 yards per clip. 5.4 yards per clip. Mm-hmm. Just take that down the field and run out the clock. We'll all go home early.
Yeah, I know. I know how coaches think. I know coaches look at the secondary. They see the Washington defenders. And Mike, on the back end, they're not very good. They really aren't in terms of coverage. And so the coaches are always thinking, oh, we got big plays down there. We got big plays down there. We can get guys open. We can hit big plays. But, you know, if your quarterback's missing receivers, which he has somewhat, and if he's taking hits and he's putting the ball on the ground, you can't have that. You know, I would take the safer route, and I would lean on the running attack because right now to this point, I mean, you saw the stats. I mean, they're when they want to run the ball, they can run the ball, even without Dickerson.
All right, we'll see what happens with the second half to come. This has been Nissan in-game live. Ray Dittinger, Michael Barkann. Coming up after the third quarter, Seth Joyner with his thoughts on this game and what will by then be a huge Eagles lead, Ray. And then when the clock hits 0, we're back on NBC Sports Philadelphia for Eagles post-game live. Thanks for watching. We'll see you after the game.